So for the first time in about 2 years, we've added a new floor plan to our Go Play lineup, and I've already had a lot of people asking about it, just seeing the floor plan on the website, and I hope you like what you see today. So first of all, hi, I'm Josh. Welcome to Coldwater, Michigan, my hometown superstore here, although we have these available at any Bish's location, not to mention we can get them hooked up to a truck and deliver them to your front door. But this floor plan, it's not new in the marketplace. The Wildwood FSX 178 is absolutely the originator of this, so let's get that right out of the way. This is our little version of it, but it's based on so much of your consumer feedback. People said, well, we want things like the bigger ceiling. We want things like the solar package. We want those standard. We don't necessarily need a camp kitchen, but we do like a fridge outdoors. Those kind of bits and pieces of feedback are what we applied to this camper today to bring this thing to you. Now, along the way, things that people really didn't care about, we were able to peel that stuff out and get rid of the fluff stuff, and as a result, have a very similar floor plan with really smart equipment offerings out there for a more aggressive price tag than what most brands are offering today. That was the goal behind this. It is not the flashiest, fanciest equipped thing. It is a smarter class kind of camper, and it could also work as a very starter class kind of camper for you. We've got the double over double bunks. That's really the thing that we were missing in our lineup in a smaller size, something that is like mid-size pickup towable, like a tow package Ford Ranger, something like that. Up front, you've got what Wildwood used to call a jiffy bed. It's a folding bendy bed, but it folds hot dog style instead of hamburger. I don't know how to describe it better than that. But again, things like having a 200-watt solar panel on this, enclosed underbelly, the taller ceiling, which means more headroom all the way through, taller bunks, a little taller storage, and more headroom in the shower. Those are great. But I want to be fair. Just because this is our series of RVs exclusive to us at Bish's doesn't mean that I think it's absolutely flawless and beyond reproach. Like, I'll volunteer. I think the bathroom needs a little extra to it, and it's a short queen bed. So we're going to be fair with you, where I'm going to show you the good with the bad, because if you don't like this one, we have other things that could work for you, and that's what we want, is to help you get your second camper the first time. And if you like that, hit that subscribe button. Let's get started. So when you walk in the door, you turn your head to the left. This is what you're looking at right here, and this is going to look and feel bigger than nearly any other builder who makes this floor plan, of which there's certainly quite a few now. The last couple of years, this floor plan has blossomed in popularity. The thing is, this one actually is bigger. First of all, it's a full 8-foot wide. Most of the builders of this layout are some variation of narrow body. So this is a full standard 8-foot body, and it's also 3 inches taller inside at 6'9" versus 6.5 feet, which is, again, a little bit more industry standard for, travel trailers out there. Then factor in the light color palette that we have going on here, and the whole thing opens right up. And as a result, it gives you a little bit more of an open, airy feel. Now, the RV has significant points of consideration. The smaller an RV gets, the more painful the disadvantage things become. Like, I would say it's limited on counter space, but actually, if I'm being really fair, I would say, what counter space? It's just not something this one does very well. It doesn't do campside windows very well, because you can't just flip-flop the layout. The entry door overlaps with the slide-out in an east-west consideration, and that prevents the RV from just being flipped the other way, because the dinette wouldn't fit over on the campsite of the RV unless you went to a small dinette, and you would lose about half of your kitchen capacity, which is already painfully limited. Now, once again, being fair, I really am surprised that there's not a single light in the slide box. I would probably get some of those stick-on battery power little lights myself. That's what I would go with anyway. I do appreciate the fact that it is truly carpetless all the way through. There's a little toe stubber right there, but it's carpetless, so pets, kids, everyone's going to get in here. I also hope you appreciate the fact that although I think this is a really good floor plan, I've kind of made it a point so far to go out of my way to point out things that maybe aren't awesome and don't work very well for you, because I know that if I was going to spend this kind of money, I'd sure want to know, and I'd sure appreciate it. Now, the sofa looks mostly symmetrical.
well, the bench, as it were. This side over here has power outlets. Now, it has both a wireless charge pad that pops up to reveal dual USB plugs. The other side does not, because when the bed folds down, it's not really going to do anything for you. And as long as we're talking about the bed here, let's see if I can do my best Burt Reynolds impression and sprawl myself out across this thing. Keep in mind, though, we are about to jump over into the realm of wide-angle camera lensing.
So first of all, I'd like to thank my camera person, Griddle McBox-a-lot over here. You know, when you're doing this on your own, you get creative, but that's kind of camping, you know, you figure it out. So this is a very basic thing. Like, it's not really a couch, it's just a bench. And this just kind of flopsy jobs down, technical term, mind you. And the lock to hold this in place is actually, whoa, back here. Woo, that was some dad reflex stuff. Did you see that? I'm surprised myself that I caught it. But anyway, as I mentioned when the video began, it's a folding bendy bed mattress, but it folds hot dog style instead of hamburger style. Now, I'm in terrible physical shape right now, and I've been that way for several years, but so you're gonna get an amazing look at it right here. And you notice I left my shoes on. I have a hard rule: take your shoes off before you touch somebody else's furniture. But my shoes ain't really touching the mattress because this is a short queen bed, and that could be a problem for some folks. Now, in my household, what we would have to do, my wife, who's a little smaller, she's a little more gravity friendly. She'd have to sleep stuffed up in the nose. I'd have to sleep over here. She'd have to climb over me every time she wanted to get to the bathroom at night. And that would annoy the crap out of her. So this camper probably wouldn't work for us. Like, this wouldn't be a trailer that I would personally own. But that's my experience, my life, and my journey. These may not be problems for you. If you're a single parent just trying to take your kids camping on the weekend, this is awesome. This is all you need right here. But, you know, everyone's journey is a little bit different. And that's why there's so many different RVs with all these different floor plans, you know. Putting it away is pretty simple as well. You just kind of fold that up out of the way. I like to sort of lift and stack the mattress a touch just because it makes this easier. Like the mattress leaning against the, oops, I didn't get that locked right there. And even though I'm fumbling a little bit, I want you to see the real world execution and application of this. Like, I'm not trying to church it up and make it look easier and better than it actually is. This is real. This is how it actually is. And, you know, that relentless pursuit of transparency that we do here at Bish's RV so that you get to see this before you spend all your money. That's what we want to offer you. So if the demos like this are handy, hit that subscribe button. Let's keep rolling.
Jumping back behind the camera like the House of Pain, you see that it does have a privacy curtain, which is very nice. Now, it doesn't actually go all the way to the floor, but I don't know that it needs to because the mattress is going to actually be kind of above that line. Now, storage in small trailers is always something that's kind of difficult to manage and navigate. This, you know, has storage available pretty much wherever it could be. The thing is, you know, it's still quite limited. So that's another one of those factors that kind of yields the understanding that this is made for some casual weekend camping, not for like spending huge amounts of time in. Now, something I noticed when I was opening and closing the slide is where this curtain ties back, it actually can theoretically get hung up and sucked in behind that slide fascia. So my recommendation for travel is I would actually not leave the curtain tied up against the wall. I would pull it this way on the little runner track to, you know, just avoid that opportunity. Because if you forget, or if one of the kids is like, hey, I want to help, and they hit the button and it goes, oh man, you're going to be in for a not fun evening. What about rainy day survival? Well, if you really need to just give everybody as much space as possible, you could convert that over into makeshift lounge mode, and it's not as comfy as a sofa, not by any stretch of the imagination, but it could get you through. And in case you're curious, over there above the thermostat, that's actually where your TV prep and hookups are located. Again, this is a camper that expects you to get in here to like sleep in it, take a quick shower, get out, and maybe do a little bit of dining. Other than that, this camper is really built around the idea that you're going to be outside. But if you're really looking for maximum sleeping, you know, that folds down into like a nearly 7-foot bed right there. So that can create some extra space when and if you need it. There is also storage below the seating, but the thing is, it's not the whole bench and nothing but the bench that is storage. This section over here has no storage, and you might wonder why. When we step outside, you'll see why. There's actually a wheel well directly below that dinette bench. You are sitting above the wheel well right there. So the slide box isn't actually like rectangular in shape. It actually has a little cutaway inset into it to allow for that sort of space right there. So it's just one of those weird, interesting little things they had to do. Now, this is all pocket screwed lumber core cabinetry. If you're not familiar with what that means, leave me a little note in the comment section. I'm happy to assist you there. They go with what I call a north-south two-burner stovetop. I do like the fact that it has some kind of cover on it. By the way, this is not what you cook on. It's like once a week I see on like TikTok or something, somebody put an egg on top of this and then turned on the flame. This is not for cooking. That's not what it is. However, getting down below here, the water pump eats up a little bit of space under the sink, but there's still a decent area there for a wastebasket, I think. What I really like and appreciate is the fact that we've got dual plywood box drawers on full runner glides right here. And the fact that this RV has even one drawer, let alone two, already separates it from so many other builders who make a floor plan like this. There's a lot of companies that offer 0 drawers in these layouts. And as long as we're cooking this direction, I would mention real quick how you have separate curtains for the upper and lower bunks. I actually think the bunk area of this has some really smart, intelligent treatments because both bunks have windows, both bunk windows open for airflow, and both bunks have the handy little phone net pocket as well as some plugs. Now, the upper bunk has USB plugs where the lower bunk does not. If I was going to make, let me ask you, if you were going to make a decision, if you could only have one set of outlets in there, should they be household or USB? I think in a bunk space, a USB plug, to me, makes lots of sense. I want to offer you another point of consideration. I've done that a lot today. I'm trying to be very fair about this. This is a non-centralized air conditioning RV. If these curtains are pulled, it will get a little warmer in there a little more quickly. Oops. Whenever I see these, I try to point them out. Our bunk ratings are 600 pounds each. So very similar to Jayco, where it's a 300 pound per sleeping space. That's a double bunk, so it's considered a 600 pound bunk sleeper. Now, the bathroom sizing, I think, is awesome. Some of the execution I personally don't necessarily love, but let me walk my way through it here. The space around the toilet is fairly fluffy friendly. They did a very reasonably good job there. The whole undermount inset sink thing, there's just enough counter space to have plenty of room for toothbrushes and stuff. That's all fine. But this is where I start to go, ugh. And again, this is just my opinion. It doesn't mean it's a bad camper. It's just the way I look at camping, and that could be different from you. It's just a mirror on the wall. No real storage there. Not really any sort of hanging towel space, and no shower surround paneling. I don't necessarily love that. Let me circle back to that in a second. While we're staring here up at the ceiling, look at the right side of the screen. You can see I'm a little over 6 foot, wearing a hat and shoes. Probably about 6'2", 3 in total in that footage right there. Normally about 6'1" flat foot. But my head has to be up in the vent fan skylight combo, and it is the basic 4-inch fart fan. We are reserving the bigger fan to some other projects that we're working on. But without shower surround paneling, when you shower, isn't this going to become damaged? Well, only if you don't take care of it properly. What you need to do with a camper like this, when you're done showering, take your towel, dry it down, wipe it down, and then activate your little fan up here just to get a little airflow going, and that's enough that it'll dry everything out before it soaks in and causes problems. By the way, I just tucked the shower curtain up out of the way to clear it for us. But that's how you do these little guys right here. By the way, this bathroom door actually does have a little bit of a sanity lock on that as well. So if you love your kids, but some days they just make a bunch of noise and you want to start to love them to death, that's kind of where this one comes into play. And also, speaking of coming into play, the slide is about to come into play in road mode. Not my best transition, to be fair. And once again, in road mode here, I have dropped the sofa into well, the bed into sleeper mode so that you can see, if you don't care about the Murphy sofa, you don't have to use it that way. It's just there if you need it, gone if you don't. When the big True U dinette closes up, it definitely, I mean, when you go from a big dinette slide to no slide space real quick, it gets tighter in here awful fast. But you can, I mean, completely access everything in this RV in transit. Now, one of the things I want to do is give you the extra information that even if it might be a disqualifier, and one of the things I really feel is my responsibility to advise is this is a Schwintek slide, and as a result, the slide out should not be occupied by people while it is closed. You should only ever have that slide fully open or fully closed, ideally with a Schwintek system, and you shouldn't sit in it. Now, all the storage in the dinette, the weight of that is dispersed around, but the way that this mechanism works, when you see these silvery worm gear tracks, that's the dead giveaway that this is a Schwintek slide. I want to swing the camera slowly so I don't make you sick. You should only actually sit in this thing while it's fully extended. So if little extra details like that are handy information for you, because I want to keep you camping and not just get you camping, you know what I mean? Hit that subscribe button and know that we'll just always be as transparent with you as we can.
And as we take a second look at the weights and the measures here over on the left side of the screen, I do want to mention the fact that, yeah, this is heavier than a lot of other single axle campers that you find out there. But it's also a little bit taller, and it's a full 8 foot wide, and it has a slide. Those things all add up. And it's on a single axle. And let's just get this right out of the way. There's going to be a lot of people that go, man, there's no way I'd put that weight on a single axle. That spooks me. And I respect that. Don't buy it then. Not a problem. I think that's valid feedback. But there's going to be some folks that camp casually, camp locally, have limited tow vehicles for whom this would work very well. Now, based on your feedback, we are actually going to enact a mid-2025 season update at some point. I don't have hard details on that, but you will see a graphics overhaul. This is our Go Play Wayfinder logo up there, but with the curvature and with the shadowing, one of our viewers told us it looks like a duck's foot, and once they said that, we could never unsee it, and we said, we know that's not what it is, but we also get it. And we're probably going to do some visual overhauls on these later in the year. So kind of keep that way in the back of your head. I don't, again, have hard details on that. It may not happen. I don't know. That's the loose plan. Anyway, what else we got? Let's start cruising our way around here. Outside storage is limited because it's a small camper and there's just only so much space to put everything. Because things like the water heater are on the other side of the RV because there was not really another great spot for them, we don't have a true full pass-through on this one. We have a 2/3 baggage compartment. And if cargo shifts all the way to the back of that, it's not fun to get to. Ask me how I know, because I literally just crawled in there to get the outdoor kitchenette stuff out for you for display. Now, I'm having trouble reaching all the way under here to give you a look at the underbelly, but as you can see, it's enclosed. That right there is a very rare quality on single axle campers. It's not exclusive to our Go Plays, but this is definitely more the exception than the rule when it comes to smaller things. I do like the fact that this has about the biggest awning on it possibly could, because it's not a big camper. It's not going to have big awning space, but we did what we could, where we could. And again, it's a little detail. So going back to the duck's foot, it's actually pointing right at something I want to talk about. A stovetop exhaust vent hood. So if you are cooking inside, it actually is getting that hot air out of the camper. Now, this is a bunkhouse, and I'm a dad. So my dad alarms start going off sometimes, and I want to keep your kids from getting hurt. So I want to mention to you parents, you see that silvery thing? If you're totally new to this, you don't realize that's a furnace exhaust. So hot surface, hot air coming out of that. Make sure you educate your kids properly. Now, this has been a little bit enhanced from last year, and I don't think I actually said this correctly when the video began. Currently, it actually is including a little bumper mount griddle. Other than that, like last year, our Go Plays had things like the little mini fridge outdoors. Instead of like a pull-out cooktop, we actually had just drawer storage because that's always useful. But we did have a lot of people say, I'd really like it if it was just fully equipped from the factory, if I didn't also have to go get a cooker. I personally, the way I feel, I feel like I could probably get a better quality cooker that works a little bit better aftermarket, probably for more money, admittedly. So sometimes it is nice to have it done from the factory, but I don't know that those griddles always cook the best. I would love some feedback from actual owners or just even anybody. Do you like the fact that the griddle's included? Do you not like the fact that the griddle's included? There's no wrong answers here. This is what we're doing now. Obviously, we're willing to make little tweaks and changes as we go. Up top here on the upper right, you see that black long strip bracket. That is the rooftop ladder prep mount right there, where you can get one of those portable telescopic ladders. You've also got backup camera prep, but frankly, any RV, even if it's not backup camera prepped, can still have a rear view camera plugged into the thing. Speaking of plugging in, the RV's got a 200-watt solar panel up on the roof plugged in for you, helping to keep your battery tended up and topped off, which is kind of nice. Now, this is not made for extreme weather. This is not made for long-term boondocking. This is a casual camper, not any sort of rugged boondock glamper, anything like that. So, I want to mention, we've got conventional import tires. We have things like the single sewer outlet over here, which is nice, but it is fairly low to the ground. And you might notice the weird shape of the slide box right here. It's because it actually has to interlace just over the wheel well right there, so it's not causing any sort of problems. Oh, by the way, it is also a PVC roof membrane up top there. So if this one's just a little bit too small for you, or if you want to see something else similar with a couple other features, take a look at the links in the video description. Not only will you get a chance to check pricing and availability on one of these, whether you're curious or whether you're serious, but also take a look at some other RVs with a similar layout that you could check from home, you know? Or, you know what, if it's Monday morning and you're watching this from the bathroom at work, while you're in there, recite this fun little phrase. The boss makes $1, I make a dime. That's why I poop on the company time. I've been wanting to work that on camera for a long time here. So when you're ready, we're ready. We don't do hidden dealer fees. We just try to take care of you best we can. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.